Thank you for joining in and helping us protect our cultural sites through training to be an OHV Preservation Ambassador. This program is run by the Nevadans for Cultural Preservation, which is a nonprofit that believes in preservation through education. This program was also developed by our partnering organization, Dunes and Trails UTV Club of Las Vegas, Nevada, and funded through the off-highway vehicle registration dollars, where we take today's registration funds tomorrow's off-road adventures. So there's really three parts to this training and to the idea of being an ambassador, and that is to get out and explore our archaeology, report damages you may find, and protect the cultural sites and our access to them for the future. OHV Preservation Ambassadors are volunteers within the OHV community, and they actively participate in cultural site preservation by reporting changes to sites they visit or they adopt. Their reports provide a record of OHV community preservation efforts and help ensure open access to these heritage resources. So the first part of being an ambassador is exploring. You want to get out and identify a cultural site, document the condition, and we're going to talk a little bit about what to do if you find major damage to a site. So a cultural site is any place with evidence of past human activity that's at least 50 years old. And it contains features like petroglyphs, charcoal kilns, rock shelters, or trash scatters, really things that are made, used, or modified by humans. Some examples are ranching buildings, charcoal kilns, mining sites, cemeteries, petroglyph sites, rock shelters, or agave roasting pits. Not only do you find these features, these big items here, but there's also usually artifacts in the area. So with our pre-contact sites, we're looking at things like projectile points or broken bits of ceramics. At our historic sites, historic cans, bottles, and that kind of thing. So now that you know how to identify a cultural site, we're going to talk about how to report your findings. So when you're out, you're going to take notes and take photographs of those features and artifacts and any condition issues or sign issues and other things like that. So when you're photographing, like a feature like a building, you want to make sure you kind of get pictures of all the different sides, because that helps us see how things are going. And then you only go inside to take photos if it's safe. And when you're taking pictures of maybe a long wall of petroglyphs or something that's large, just take pictures from one end to the other, and then we can line those up and see all of it at once. And when you're looking at the smaller things like artifacts, it's good to take a picture of where it was left, but if it's important, feel free to pick it up, maybe put a scale in there so we can see how large it is. And then take a picture of where it was left, like this can dump had these particular artifacts. But remember, you don't have to take a picture of every single thing at the can dump. It's just nice to know the types of things that were found there. Okay, so now that you've seen your site, you've taken some pictures, we're going to talk about reporting damage. And it's important that you take photographs of damage to help us with law enforcement. So when you have a major impact like graffiti on top of pictographs, you want to take an overview photo. And that's where you kind of get everything you can in that picture. But be careful not to disturb the area and don't collect any trash. You want to treat it like a crime scene. As you can see in this photo, there's a paint can. And this was not staged. The people actually left their paint can at the site. Then you want to get a close-up photo if it's safe and you're not disturbing the area, so we can better see the damage that occurred. And you can see the pictograph in the red underneath the black spray paint. Now, the good news is with permission from the Bureau of Land Management and help from an expert, we were able to attempt to clean this up as much as possible. It'll never be the same, but this is why your reports are so important. They help us get ahead of the issues before more people come and spray paint even more. So another example of a major damage issue is somebody who's digging at a cemetery. So this would be an example of an overview photo and a close-up photo. Now, if you see the person actively engaging in the illegal behavior, do not confront them. If possible, take some notes or photos if it's safe. Leave the area and contact your local law enforcement. Because as off-road ambassadors, you're actually helping law enforcement and you're helping protect these sites. So that's step 3, is protect. And protection is part of stewardship. So we want to make sure you're always sending in a report. And if you really have a site that you like, you can adopt it and commit to annual visits. But we want reports if things look good and if things look bad, because that shows the commitment from the off-road community, and it also shortens windows of when damage occurred. So this is just an example, and we want you to send in a report and a picture for each visit. Everything looks good in this photograph. And this one too, we want those pictures, good or bad, and it creates a record. It kind of helps us understand what the site's been looking like, and that way when there's a change like this where somebody has toppled over one of these rock cairns, we have the photos to help us. And that's because it's illegal to remove, damage, or destroy archaeological resources. And we have state laws and federal laws like the Archaeological Resources Protection Act of 1979. And there are other heritage laws. You can look them up for more information, but there's the American Antiquities Act, the National Historic Preservation Act, and then there's the grave and grave goods related legislation and acts like NAGPRA. And this photograph shows actual grave goods that were looted from a site, and the box is over the top of the photo where there were human remains. So this is illegal. So you've gone out, you identified your site, you took some photos, and now you're going to go onto the online reporting website. And so you can do that through ohv.nv.gov. At the bottom, it'll say report damage. You can scan a QR code on a plastic card if you happen to have received one of those, or you can visit nvfcp.org and go to take action. All of these will get you to the report damage page on Nevadans for Cultural Preservation's website. And there's a video tutorial on how to fill out the report. The report is actually with the Nevada Site Stewardship Program, which is part of the State Historic Preservation Office. And the reason this is a good thing is because these reports that you put in go directly to the state, and then the state takes that information and gives it to the land managers. And they already run a program, so this should continue on, and they actually keep a database of all this information. And the things they're going to ask you for are the site name, location, description, your observations. You're able to upload photos from your phone directly into the online report, and contact information for you, especially if we need to get back in touch if there's damage. Now, you might find something disturbing and you want to report it directly to law enforcement. For sure, go ahead and do that if they're available. But always send in an online report as well, because local law enforcement, especially if it's your local police, they may not have jurisdiction to work a case in that area. They may not know the laws that protect cultural resources on public lands. It's federal lands like Bureau of Land Management. And they may not know how to reach the archaeologist. The archaeologist is the one who's actually going to do the damage report and help law enforcement officers with prosecution. Or if they can't find the perpetrator or the issue, they're the ones that have to protect those sites and come up with management plans. So what's next? Once you submit this training and these couple questions that you have to fill out, NVFCP will email you a confirmation and you'll be added to the list of trained ambassadors. And so you are ready to get out, explore, report, and protect, and help us take care of these amazing places for future generations and to ensure that we have access to them for recreation. Thank you.